Here's your WNEM TV5 News Update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chet Davis, and here's a look at the top stories we're following tonight. Gas prices recently fell to their lowest level since 2021. That's according to Gas Buddy. Today, the national average sits at $2.93 a gallon. However, it's only about 7 cents lower than last year. Patrick DeHaan, the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, says this time of year is when gas prices generally hit their annual lows. DeHaan explains that we're seeing lower prices here in Michigan due to the BP refinery in Northwest Indiana resuming production following a fire in October, as well as OPEC increasing its oil production.
Michigan's gas prices tend to be on an up-down game, you could say. Gas prices generally fall a couple of cents a day until stations no longer are selling at a profitable level. That's what causes them to all raise their prices, sometimes 30, 40, or 50 cents.
DeHaan says this has already happened at some stations where the price is $2.99 a gallon. The average price in Michigan increased 4 cents today to $2.86 because of this. However, DeHaan says not to worry too much. He expects it to be about 10 or 15 cents lower than where we are today. DeHaan says he doesn't see prices dropping to $2 a gallon next year, in part due to increasing costs of labor, business, and taxes. We're wishing a very happy birthday to a living legend in Saginaw. As you may remember, last year, TV5's Lauren Piesco caught up with Warren Wedding, a Saginaw County mailman still delivering the mail in his 90s. Well, about 2 weeks ago, Warren suffered a nasty fall in his home, so he's spending his 92nd birthday at Mary Free Bed Hospital in Saginaw. TV5 was there this morning to see how he's doing and catch his reaction to a surprise celebration.
A local legend here in Saginaw. Everyone knows you, it seems like.
Even when I go to the grocery store and run into somebody, he made me a celebrity. So
when he was sharing his story with us, just delivering mail in Saginaw for 65 years, we just got to chatting and found out his birthday was coming up. When having to spend your birthday in a hospital, it's a great opportunity for us to make it a little bit more special for them while they're here, especially during the holidays.
Since 1958, Warren says he's watched the Postal Service change immensely, especially with the introduction of online shopping, now delivering more packages sometimes than mail. He says he misses the face-to-face times and conversations he used to have with neighbors when delivering their mail. As for retirement, Warren says that's something he's been thinking about for years, adding he's talking about taking a break when he gets home and enjoying time with family. Now here's Chris with your First Alert forecast.
Chet, we've got a winter weather advisory in place for all of our TV5 counties. That was not the case earlier this morning, but that has since been expanded to the south to include Gratiot, Shiawassee, Genesee, and Lapeer counties. That goes from tonight until about 4 p.m. on Wednesday, depending on how things play out. Wouldn't be shocked if the snow ends a little bit sooner, if we can get by with them a little bit sooner than 4 p.m., but that's the time frame for now, and we'll see how things play out as we approach the start of this winter system tonight. 12 a.m. to roughly 5 or 6 a.m. we expect the most consistent and heavy snow. It's during that time where we could see snowfall rates of around 1 inch per hour or more in certain areas. If there is a chance of mixing or just outright rain, we think that is primarily between about 5 and 10 a.m., mainly for our southern counties, while snow continues to the north. And then 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we change over back to all snow in areas that were mixed. And then lake effect eventually follows after the snowfall from the system comes to an end. The radar fairly quiet for now. Your sky tracker shows the system just to our west. That system will eventually cross Lake Michigan a little bit later tonight. We expect an arrival time a little bit closer to about 11 o'clock, give or take, later tonight. And that will expand eastward as we go through the night. There's some of those darker shades of blue indicating some heavier snowfall rates after midnight. That will continue for the next several hours after that. And then, of course, as we approach 5 a.m., here comes some of that mixing, especially in those southerly areas. And that will last until, again, about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning before eventually peeling away to the south and east, and we'll change back over to snow. Very little accumulation is expected after that rain comes to an end. I would say most of the accumulation for those southerly counties is going to be during the first half of the night. As far as your accumulation forecast goes, we really haven't changed much compared to yesterday. Still expecting most to pick up about 3 to 6 inches of snow. It does look like a little bit less off to the south, where about 1 1 to 4 inches is possible where some of that mixing could occur. As far as a area of 6+ inches of snow, we do think that's possible on a localized basis. There is a chance that there could be a locally heavy band of snow that develops somewhere in the viewing area. I would say the best area is roughly about central lower Michigan. And so if that happens, we could get a small stripe of about 6 inches or more. The winds as we go through this event will be variable, but generally expecting them to turn northerly tomorrow. I think sustained winds are between 15 and 25. I think gusts are between about 25 and 35, maybe slightly higher at the lakeshore. Thankfully, the snow is going to be a heavier snow, so I would expect that snow to likely stick on the ground and not blow around as much as if it were if it were a little bit lighter and fluffier. Your 7-day forecast shows lake effect continues the rest of this week. A chance for some light snow on Saturday. Temperatures, the big story moving into the weekend, we're back to the teens and low 20s.
Remember to tune into WNEM TV5 on air and online 24/7 for the latest news, weather, and information.